Welcome back to M&T Bank Stadium, everyone, and that graphic tells the story. It says the temperature is 36. It says it feels like 25. I'm not sure we believe that. It feels a little chillier than that, but welcome back. And it's going to be a windy day all day today.
I think the players are going to struggle down on the field to gauge which direction the wind is coming from because it really swirls down on the field.
Baltimore Ravens won the toss and have deferred. The Jets will get their hands on the football first, and Josh Cribbs is in the end zone awaiting the kick.
Yeah, both these coaches would prefer to start off playing defense.
We're underway. Cribbs from 4 yards deep. Across the 20, out to about the 24-yard line. Well, which Geno Smith shows up today? He's had some terrific games. He's had disastrous games. He's turned the ball over, as we said, 20 times, 16 picks, 4 lost fumbles, and every team likes to get off to a good start, but it's probably even more so with the New York Jets and Geno Smith.
Well, no in mind that a lot of those good games that Geno Smith has played were at home in the Meadowlands, not on the road. This is a hard place to win.
This is Bilal Powell, and Powell for a couple of yards across the 25. The Jets 77, Austin Howard at right tackle has the challenge of putting the stops on Ravens linebacker Terrell Suggs, and the Jets will go nowhere unless they can run the football today. Powell, you just saw, he'll share those duties with Chris Ivory.
And the good news for the Ravens is Haloti Ngata is starting this game, and he is there at his customary defensive tackle position.
They go right to the Wildcat, and Josh Cribbs taking it left side and across the 30 for a first down out to the 33.
And this is going to be something the Jets are going to use a fair amount because, again, it just takes the pressure off Geno Smith. It's another way to advance the football. And of course, David Lee, their quarterback coach, kind of the godfather of the Wildcat. And that's a good second down play for the Jets. And again, limiting Geno Smith's opportunities to make a mistake.
Cribbs back to the sideline and Geno Smith back at quarterback. Chris Ivory, short of a first down.
Wow.
And the punting unit will come onto the field for the Jets.
What a job by the Baltimore guys up front. Take a look at them stuffing this right there. And coming across, guess who? Haloti Ngata. Gets off his block, slides laterally to the left, stays square, and stuffs the play.
Tandon Doss back at about his own 20-yard line. And Sam Cook, or excuse me, Ryan Quigley, set to kick it away. The wind will be tricky going in both directions today. Doss lets this one bounce behind him, and it rolls back to about the 15-yard line.
Well, Doss got lucky right there, Greg. He should have handled that punt, and he took a chance, and it worked out for him, but that ball actually came back.
At quarterback for the Ravens, Joe Flacco, the Super Bowl MVP. He shoulders some of the blame for the 4-6 record. 13 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions, and has not been nearly as consistent as he was a season ago.
Well, part of the problem, though, Greg, we talked about it in the open, he hasn't had a supporting running game. Every quarterback in the league, his numbers are going to suffer without a running game.
Flacco to throw on first down. That pass across the 20 and across the 25 to the 27 is Jacoby Jones. The Ravens 27th in the league running the football. And one of the youngsters up front looking to make that better, second-year left guard, A.Q. Shipley. Ray Rice broke out for 131 yards and a touchdown on 25 carries last week, looking to establish the run again today. Tyrod Taylor is onto the field now for Baltimore at the bottom of your screen. He is the backup quarterback. He doesn't get the handoff. Instead, the flip is to Rice. And here's a late flag thrown from the near sideline.
Well, there was some slick ball handling there by Joe Flacco in an attempt to confuse the Jets defense. Joe turned around and all of a sudden he had Jets right in his grill.
Jeff Triplett is our referee today. And this one is obviously going to go against the Ravens.
Elio Black in the bag, number 68 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
We were just talking about A.Q. Shipley.
Again, this delayed screen, Shipley gets out. We got a good look at him right in the screen. He hits DeJuan Landry right from behind and shoves him, and that marches the Ravens back. And again, that Joe Flacco did a good job just getting rid of that football just prior to getting smacked a good one.
And he just barely got rid of it.
Well, they're not going to be able to allow that football to lie on the field too long without the wind advancing it. The umpire's going to have to almost hand it to the center.
1st and 21.
Mike's right there.
Flacco throwing, it's incomplete. That pass intended for Marlon Brown. It'll be 2nd and 21. The Jets' run defense, the best in the NFL, spearheaded by the terrific number 96, Muhammad Wilkerson. Linebackers are run stoppers too, number 52, David Harris, the Jets' leading tackler with 90. And Ed Reed back in Baltimore when he was a first-round draft pick back in 2002, holding down a safety spot and wearing number 22.
I would think the Jets are going to sit on all short and intermediate routes, daring Baltimore to try to throw deep.
This is Bernard Pierce. And Pierce across the 15 to about the 17-yard line.
With the wind the way it is, you'd think that it's really going to wreak havoc on a deep pass attempt, and that's going to work into the minds of both defensive coordinators as they call their defense. I think they're going to dare the other team to air it out.
3rd and long yardage for Flacco. Going to come deep down this sideline. The ball hanging up. And incomplete. D. Milliner looked like he had a shot at the interception. The pass intended for Brandon Stokely.
Well, Milliner, who's been burned a couple of times, this time with good coverage. He's all the way to the far right of your screen, number 27. He's locked onto the ball the whole time, and you can see both of them have to come to a complete stop. And Milliner had that football. He had it in his hands and just could not hold on to it. But that ball, no question, the wind stood it up. It was all coming down straight when it got to Milliner.
Cook to kick it away to Josh Cribbs. Returnable. Cribbs. After 21. Dancing across the 30 and across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Has to use whatever he can use, and that includes your face. Scoreless in the first quarter.
Not recommended.
Welcome back to Baltimore, and right away the Jets are back into the Wildcat with Josh Cribbs in the backfield and Geno Smith flanked to the near side of the field. Cribbs straight ahead and across the 40 to the 41-yard line. A quick look at the Ravens 3-4 defense. We've mentioned him already. Haloti Ngata missed the game at Chicago last week with a sore knee, but he's back at linebacker. 5-time Pro Bowl Suggs will be after Geno Smith. He has 9 sacks on the year. And in the secondary, ex-Jet James Ahedibo with 2 interceptions on the season at safety. Cribbs once again. And Smith flanked to the top of your screen. And he's going to throw this one to the far side. Geno Smith with the catch across midfield for the first down.
And Geno Smith split out at wide receiver. You hardly blame the Ravens defense. They just completely disregard him. You see Jimmy Smith comes off of him, comes all the way up to the line of scrimmage to play the potential run by Josh Cribbs. And if that's a smart play by the Jets. That'll be the last time that Jimmy Smith disregards the split-out quarterback to that side. Now all of a sudden you've got to account for him.
It'll be the defense out. It'll be the last time anyone disregards Geno Smith. First down, Chris Ivory in the backfield. The Jets at the Baltimore 46. This is Chris Ivory. Ivory with running room left side. Inside the 35, inside the 30.
Well, the Jets can do two things in the running game. They can defend it and they can run it. And that travels well. And take a look at this. No backside containment whatsoever by the Ravens. They are all collapsed down to the inside. And Ivory has a really soft edge, slipping out the back door.
The Jets come into this game averaging almost 130 yards a game rushing, and that's the 8th best number in the NFL.
I'm telling you, Greg, run defense and running the football travels well in November, December.
This is Ivory for a couple to about the 26-yard line.
Well, the Jets had good field position to start this drive and are in the process of taking advantage of it. And you really got to like the way Marty Mornhinweg is getting this thing started. Using the Wildcat, sprinkling it in, giving his offensive line a chance to tee off.
2nd and 7. Smith rolling, throwing, got his man inside the 15, inside the 10, and out of bounds is Greg Salas, the third-year wide receiver from Hawaii.
Boy, and that's only Salas's 5th reception on the season. Not a real contributor, but I love the fact they're using Geno Smith's athletic ability. He's got really a nice ability to throw an accurate ball on the run. And I think anything that is a simple pattern that doesn't involve Geno Smith going through a progression. And here he is now. Geno Smith is split out. He's down here at the bottom of your screen.
This is Cribbs. About the 8. Ehedibo up from the safety position to make the stop.
Well, the Jets offensively are going deep into the playbook here early we're only halfway through the first quarter. And Rex Ryan and company are showing the Ravens a little bit of everything.
Well, this is a rare red zone trip. This is the 25th time they've been in the red zone this season, and that's the fewest in the NFL. Powell in the backfield on 2nd and goal. Smith on the run, throws and threw it away.
Well, he had a 3-receiver pattern in the end zone, and they were smothered by the Ravens defensively. That was a smart move by Geno Smith of not forcing in that football. There goes Cumberland to the outside, Winslow back to the inside, and these guys are all accounted for. And across the back of the end zone, you saw David Nelson. Smart move by Geno Smith, getting rid of it. The Ravens were all over.
3rd and goal now. Smith. Looked like that might have been tipped at the line.
Well, it was either tipped at the line or just fell out of his
right
hand.
Into the dirt, right.
I think he mishandled it. I think it was just a bad throw. I didn't see anybody hit it. Take a look at Geno.
Oh.
Yeah, he just knuckleball. We asked Geno about would he gloves or anything like that, and he said, no, I could never even consider that. I'd like to maintain my feel on the football. Wasn't much of the way of feel on that one.
No. Nick Folk from 27 yards out and gets it through. These kickers weren't having a ball warming up in this win, but Folk has the Jets on top, 3-0. Dan, it was only a field goal, but first quarter points have been hard to come by for the Jets this season.
Well, coming into today, they were tied for the worst in the National Football League with the fewest points scored in the first quarter. And Rex Ryan knows of his 4 road losses, 3 of them have been complete blowouts. So his team has really struggled to score on the road. He's thrilled with 3.
Jacoby Jones going to get a chance to run this one back, comes down inside the 5-yard line, right up the middle. And down at about the 25-yard line. 6:46 to play in the first quarter. Joe Flacco on the offense back on the field after this. Saturday, one of the biggest games of the year. Number 1, Alabama visits number 6, Auburn, as 2 schools renew their rivalry in an Iron Bowl rife with SEC and BCS implications. 3:30 Eastern Time. on CBS. And then on Friday at 2:30 Eastern, throw out the records when Arkansas visits LSU in a Thanksgiving Friday matinee.
LSU with a big win over Texas A&M, and then you gotta love a rivalry game. I'm an Ohio State, Michigan guy, but Alabama-Auburn is big as it gets. Besides, the Iron Bowl, that
sounds tough. This is Ray Rice. Nothing. Met at the line of scrimmage. Damon Harrison, Demario Davis making the stop, and there is the former Baltimore Raven and the former Houston Texans.
Yeah, making a return trip here to Baltimore for the second time this season. You don't see that. You don't see that every day. Ed Reed was here in the third week of the season with Houston.
Flacco over the middle, wide open at the 40-yard line. Jacoby Jones for a first down.
And that's the kind of a throw that Joe Flacco needs to make into the wind. The high fade throw is going to be tough, but when he can throw a dart like this to Jacoby Jones, this ball never gets more than about 8 feet off the ground. That is just a whistler from Joe Flacco, who's got one of the strongest arms in the league, if not the strongest. That type of a route, I don't think is going to be affected by the wind at all.
This is Rice again. And Rice to about the 43-yard line.
You know, Ray Rice, bothered by that hip flexor that he got really early in the season and just couldn't get going. But seriously now, all the changes on their own, and I know that Ray was really upset at the talk about, well, he's lost a step. You know, running backs can just fade into nothing in a hurry. And he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Tyrod Taylor back into the game. Joe Flacco flank to the top of your screen now. And coming this way is Taylor. And Taylor across midfield inside the Jet 40-yard line.
Well, the Ravens have run this before with Tyrod Taylor, and Rex Ryan is upset because his guys appear to get caught flat-footed. Again, the read option, and you can see on the left side, Muhammad Wilkerson fades all the way down to the inside. He honored the fake. And then once in the open, very little challenge from the secondary of the Jets.
I believe 2 weeks ago, Tyrod Taylor carried for 18 yards against the Bengals. His only other carry of the season. First down. Flacco pulls it down, rolling, and complete to Jacoby Jones.
Well, Jacoby Jones has not been a big part of this Ravens offense. 17 receptions coming in, you know, fighting through some injuries. And again, Joe Flacco showing, hey, I can deliver a pretty accurate ball on the run.
This is Rice to about the 28. For the first down. I remember when we talked to Ray Rice previously about this running game that has stalled. Ray had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Well, he did, and because the criticism was all on him, when in reality, I saw a whole bunch of tape on these guys where there were no holes whatsoever. Ray Rice was being met at the line of scrimmage.
Lantern!
Flacco spreads the field. Chased out of the pocket. And throws complete. That's Ed Dixon, his tight end. And that's down to the 15. Let's get an update from JB and Boomer in New York.
A rare Matt Forte fumble.
Nope, not this game. This is Scott Tolzien. You talk about quarterbacks fleet of foot, JB. Take a look at this move by Scott Tolzien. Dan Dierdorf will appreciate that I've actually just pulled a hamstring watching this. The Packers take the lead over the Vikings 7-0.
Well, I hope that was a rare miscue tossed to you, Boomer. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Dierdorf.
Hey, I've seen Boomer pull a hamstring in makeup.
That was some move.
On first down, Flacco gonna lob it for the end zone. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Torrey Smith, covered by Antonio Cromartie.
And that's a matchup we're going to see all day long. Torrey Smith is going to go very few places on the football field where number 31, Antonio Cromartie, isn't going to be right with him. They've only played against each other one time before where Smith was in. Cromartie, just a couple years ago, Cromartie held him to 1 reception.
Tyrod Taylor back into the game again. Flacco to the top of your screen.
That was Smith's rookie year. He's grown a bit since then.
And the handoff is for Rice. And Rice to about the 12. So both offensive coordinators digging deep into the playbook today.
Well, the Ravens realize something. That this is tough sledding, trying to gain yardage on the ground against the New York Jets. The Jets don't believe any team in the league can run against them, and the reality is no one has this year.
Flacco now with a 3rd and 9. And this one in the end zone. Incomplete. Jacoby Jones could not hold on. Late flag comes in. And that is a late flag.
Well, is this going to be a hit on a defenseless receiver? I'm not sure. What the flag came in late. There was a big hit on Jacoby Jones. Ed Reed was involved. I don't know if he was the guy that actually delivered or not.
There is no foul on the play for a hit on the defensive receiver.
Well, the officials talked it over and picked it up. Here comes the throw from Flacco to Jones. Oh, and that's exactly right. Ed Reed jumped up in the air and actually hits Jacoby Jones with his chest. And that was a smart play by Ed Reed. If he'd have hit him with his helmet, if he'd have hit him with a forearm in the head, that would have been a flag, and they would not have picked it up.
So on 4th down now, here is Justin Tucker from 30 yards out, and there are no gimmies in this win today.
Well, I'm glad to see the officials reward a guy a smart play, because that's what Ed Reed did right there. No contact to the head. That was well played, Ed.
Back in Baltimore, the Ravens come back for the field goal in the 3-3 tie, and they get set to kick it away. A 63-yard drive, taking just under 5 minutes off the clock. And Josh Cribbs is deep. From his own 1. And it's dropped just short of the 20-yard line. 1:53 to play in the first quarter. And Geno Smith and the New York Jets back on offense in just a moment. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. 3-3 tie, and the Jets from their own 9-yard line with Geno Smith calling the signals. Going to give it to Powell. And Powell with a yard and really no more. Jameel McClain meeting him at the line of scrimmage. Hey, fantasy football fans, get a fresh start with Player Challenge, a 4-week game that now includes even bigger cash prizes. See rules and sign up at cbssports.com/challenge. Jets go with 3 tight ends now.
And one of the guys they'd really like to start working back in there is Kellen Winslow. He's been bothered by a knee, a suspension, but they think he's going to get multiple receptions today.
Geno Smith goes in motion, and this is Bilal Powell with the handoff, and all of a sudden the Ravens have smartened up to a little of that.
Yeah, Powell has run the Wildcat before, along with Josh Cribbs. And you can see just still here in the first quarter, the Jets are throwing just about everything they can at the Ravens defensively. And again, every time they run a play like that, minimizes Geno Smith's ability to turn the football over, which he's done 20 times. Now, you can't go into a game saying we're going to protect him too much. At some point in time, Geno Smith is going to have to carry it.
Well, this is 3rd and 9. Under pressure, escaping, going around the left side, looking for first down yardage and won't get there.
Well, that pocket disintegrated so fast. Give the Ravens credit. They came off both edges, and Geno Smith barely set his feet before he's got to bail out and run. The Baltimore pass rush defeated the Jets' offensive line that time, defeated them badly.
So the Jets with a pair of 3 and outs in their first 3 possessions. And Tandon Doss back inside his own 30-yard line for the punt. And they will not get it off before time expires here in the first quarter. pretty evenly played. The Ravens and the Jets both in need of a victory. We're tied at 3, and we're back to Baltimore after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. On 4th and 4, Ray Rice getting set to return. Tandon Doss back at his own 25-yard line for the upcoming kick from Ryan Quigley. Doss will see this one bounce in front of him and take a Jets bounce inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line, and come to rest at about the 8. Things with that wind at your back. That's a 67-yard punt. Hey, they've lost a partner and a friend. Now it's payback time. Don't go to the hit drama. Person of Interest, Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. That's a career-long punt.
Well, that ball for Tandon Doss to catch it would have been a lot harder than the last time he elected not to field a punt. That would have really required him, I think, taking a chance. But boy, did that work out for the Jets.
Starting deep in their own territory, Flacco and company, quick pass to the sideline, and that is incomplete off the hands of Tandon Doss. We get another update from New York, JB. And
Kansas City looking for a bounce-back win.
So who said that Alex Smith can't throw the ball down the field there, JB? How about this one? 32 yards to Donnie Avery. Touchdown. Chiefs take the lead, 7-3.
Greg Gumbel told me to call him this week in his trailer because you know he's a movie star now.
I know he is.
All right.
I know he is.
Back to Greg and Dan.
So difficult to deal with.
Thank you, guys. 2nd and 10. This is Bernard Pierce with a hole up the middle. And Pierce breaks out to about the 18-yard line, and that's very close to a first down. Ed Reed making the tackle.
Nice hole by the guys up front on this delay. Joe Flacco, you can see Pierce very deliberate, and every one of the guys up front, especially A.Q. Shipley there at left guard on Sheldon Richardson. Nice job. Nice job of staying on it. Gino Gradkowski, the center, locked on, held on. Not illegally, held on with a good block.
That's enough for a first down. Flacco going to go deep down this sideline for Jacoby Jones, and he got it! Torrey Smith, Torrey Smith with the catch.
And the travails of Antonio Cromartie continue, being beat downfield. This time, it looked like going this direction is going to be the quarterback's favorite direction. Joe Flacco drops in a perfect pass. I mean, just a perfect pass for Torrey Smith to handle. Look at that, right on his palms. Cromartie wasn't beaten badly. It took an absolutely perfect throw from Flacco to get it done.
Flacco flanked to the top of your screen. Tyrod Taylor in the backfield. Pitches for Rice. And Rice can't find running room and is down at the 22-yard line.
After completing a long pass like that, I'll guarantee you that the last thing Joe Flacco wanted to do was go play wide receiver on that play. You know, you complete a big pass like that, you really got some real momentum, and then all of a sudden you got to go play wide receiver. Sometimes you can outthink yourself. Jim Caldwell, the offensive coordinator, sure he had a reason for doing it.
That was a 60-yard reception for Torrey Smith.
I wouldn't have.
Flacco throwing this side and almost intercepted out of bounds. Intended for Ed Dickson, and Antonio Allen was right there.
Well, Joe tried to float that ball in there. He tried to feather it in with a lot of touch. And Antonio Allen, he's got it. And again, for the second time now, we've seen a Jets defender bounce the ball face mask.
That's a good job by Dickson fighting him for the football and preventing the possession.
He became the defender.
3rd and 10.
Watch zero. Keep it on. Set. 20.
Here comes the blitz.
Flacco had to get rid of it in a hurry, and he completes it. Short of the 10-yard line, Dallas Clark.
Well, you know when you get the blitz like this coming up, you got man coverage downfield. So it's a one-on-one situation all the way. 3 receivers, only 3 defenders. And what a job by Joe Flacco. That ball didn't have a lot on it. It was off his back heel, but it was right to Dallas Clark. And it's not like Joe threw that before he got hit. He threw that while he was in the process of being driven to the ground.
It's a 1st and goal for the Ravens. Flacco brings it down and on face mask.
Wow.
Kenrick Ellis, number 93, had a good hold of Flacco's face mask.
And boy, Joe Flacco is lucky he's not hurt. His head really twisted.
There are some penalties that are hard to see. That one wasn't.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 68 of the offense. Personal foul, face mask, number 93 of the defense. Those penalties all set. Repeat, 1st down.
The hold is on Shipley, the left guard.
There's Shipley right there on the left. Shipley actually called for the hold on Ellis, but Ellis grabbed that face mask and held on to it for a long time. So it was both of the combatants who drew the flags were mano a mano on that. And poor Joe Flacco took a whooping for nothing.
Flacco for Rice. And Rice is going to lose yardage on this one. Lost about 3 back to the 13. Sheldon Richardson making the stop.
Sheldon Richardson, number 91, their 1st-round draft choice this year from Mizzou. Man, has he delivered for the Jets. And that's the kind of coverage skills you like to see from a defensive end.
Tyrod Taylor back into the backfield for the Ravens.
And there's Joe up at the top again. Flacco at the top of your screen.
Inside the 10 is Ray Rice.
Did you see that great fake run by Flacco?
Yeah.
He didn't even move. I don't believe I'm going to run downfield and block for Ray Rice. I'm just going to stand here.
So it's 3rd and goal. And Taylor back onto the field.
That's a pretty good start for the Ravens to be nearing 40 yards already against a defense that doesn't even give up 75.
Flacco now to the bottom of your screen. And now the Ravens are going to call a timeout.
Timeout.
So they'll use a timeout and stop the clock with 10:25 to play in the 1st half of a 3-3 game. Officially 10:27 to play here in the 1st half. And Flacco and the Ravens on a 3rd and goal. Flacco on the move again. He chased and had to throw it away. Muhammad Wilkerson in hot pursuit.
Well, Muhammad Wilkerson has evolved, developed, and grown into one of the best defensive linemen in football. He is really a handful. He's a wonderful athlete. Look at him close on Joe Flacco. And Wilkerson is really, this guy is in the 2 or 3 best defensive ends in the game of football. Open and shut cage.
Here's Justin Tucker from 26 yards out. And the Ravens with their first lead of the day at 10:15 to play in the 1st half. 6-3 Baltimore. That's a look at the Ravens scoring drive. 10 plays, 84 yards, and the Tucker field goal to give the Ravens a 3-point lead. But that last series was lacking that guy, Jacoby Jones, who was not on the field. He has made 3 catches today for 37 yards, but was not on the field. Josh Cribbs deep. On the run. At the 5. And out to about the 30-yard line. Tomorrow on Mike and Molly, get ready for a Thanksgiving showdown. Melissa McCarthy and Billy Gardell star in a new episode of the hit comedy Mike and Molly. Tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS.
Well, Geno Smith is on the field for the Jets. Whether he plays quarterback or not, as you can tell by now, yet to be determined. And no surprise with the wind, the condition it is, that the Jets are going to lean heavily on the running game.
Chris Ivory, the running back. Smith. Look downfield, throws incomplete. And we get a penalty marker down. Was he past the line of scrimmage?
He might have been. He was really close to being across the line of scrimmage when he released the ball.
Illegal for number 7 in the offense. Pass the ball on the line of scrimmage. That's a 5-yard penalty and we'll also down. It'll be second down.
The line of scrimmage was about the 28.5-yard line. And Geno Smith, that was really close to not being all the way across that line.
On the snap, to give this to Ivory, and Ivory trying to turn the right corner, and he is cut down on the far side of the field by Ladarius Webb.
Well, that's the way you want a corner to come up and support the run. You could hear the crack from Webb with that hit all the way up here. Webb with that knee injury last year, as that knee's been a little balky at times. He's had an abdominal sprain that's been an issue. Nothing wrong with that hit, though. That was grade A.
We have been told by the Ravens nothing wrong with Jacoby Jones injury-wise either, just was not included in that last series. 3rd and 13.
Watch for Geno Smith to maybe take off with this football.
And that snap hits the ball boy coming across the middle, Greg Salas.
And
Salas
Suggs
was in motion, and they lost the football.
And Terrell Suggs, the ball is just right there on the ground. He just has to fall on it. And some type of confusion in the Jets' backfield. You can see that Salas is in motion, and he doesn't clear the center before Mangold snaps it. So Mangold's shotgun snap, which is supposed to go back to Geno Smith, bounces off Greg Salas. And Terrell Suggs, I'm sure, couldn't believe his eyes. The ball's just lying there on the turf right in front of it.
Jets turnover woes continue. And Baltimore now at the Jet 19-yard line.
Hey! Hammy, Buckeye, hey!
Jacoby Jones is now back on the field at the top of your screen. Rice to about the 16.
Well, if the Jets weren't bad enough at minus 14 on the turnover differential, now they've taken minus 15 out for a test drive. See how that fits. I think it's astonishing that they have a 5-5 record with that large a disparity between their giveaways and their takeaways.
Flacco throwing, intercepted, picked off by Antonio Cromartie. So the Jets get one right back.
Well, Joe Flacco had Torrey Smith and Marlon Brown both in that vicinity, and I'm not sure which guy he was throwing to. Those guys were awfully close together, Greg. Something there was wrong.
8:38 to play here in the first half, and the Jets with the ball back at their own 29-yard line. Antonio Cromartie's second interception of the season. Flacco throwing his 14th. On first down, this is Chris Ivory spinning off of the tackle, trying to stay on his feet, and he's finally down at about the 32-yard line. Let's go back to that pick.
Well, here's what Joe Flacco is looking. He's got Torrey Smith here to the outside, and here's Brown to the inside, and Joe's throwing to a spot. And Torrey Smith, I'm not sure if Joe was expecting him to come farther to the inside or whether Joe was expecting Brown to go farther to the outside. But that's the perils of a quarterback throwing to a spot when his receivers aren't in sync.
Coming. 2nd and 7. Geno Smith under pressure goes down, and he is hit hard by Darrell Smith.
Well, I can't even say that this pocket collapsed. I'm not sure it ever. The first guy in there was Doomerville. Look at Elvis Doomerville get inside of Cumberland, and then Geno Smith just gets obliterated. Boy, this is a formidable pass rush by the Ravens, and again, Geno Smith. Buffalo accused him last week of being a little gun shy. He's been under duress early.
Time running down on the play clock. The give is to Powell, and Powell is going to get nothing. Arthur Jones, Terrell Suggs combined to stop the Jet running back.
And I think in that situation, if you've got a veteran quarterback, if you've got a passing game, there's no question you throw the ball in that situation. But Rex Ryan with Geno Smith, his tendency to turn the football over, you know what? You take the easy way out. You hand it off, and you count on your defense to try to come up with a play.
Jacoby Jones is standing back at his own 20 for the punt. He'll get a chance to field this one. Up the sideline. And back to about his own 40 or 43-yard line. We'll see where they spot it, but a pretty good return and good field position for number 5 after this. Still a breezy day here in Baltimore. About 6.5 minutes to play in the first half.
Doesn't seem to be quite as hard as it was at the beginning of the game.
Joe Flacco flanking to the top of the screen. Tyrod Taylor in the backfield with Bernard Pierce. Going to throw it over the middle and in and out of the hands of Ed Dickson.
Well, he had him. That was a well-designed play, and Taylor has a wide-open Dickson, and that's just, the ball was a little lower than Dickson was expecting. Yeah, he could have handled it, but a little bit higher, and that is just a routine pickup of a first down if Taylor delivers a more accurate throw.
2nd and 10. Taylor to the sideline. Flacco returns to the backfield. Sideline and wide open is Dickson. Dickson, midfield, inside the 40, still on his feet inside the 35-yard line.
And credit about 10 or 12 yards to the rookie wide receiver Marlon Brown, because Brown is going to come back. That's Dickson, but there's the block by Brown. Brown gives him another 10 yards when he comes back. But look how open Dickson is. And the block by Brown really good for at least another 10 or 12 yards.
Throw in some horrible tackling by the Jets.
Yeah, and not much coverage on Dickson.
Pierce. And Pierce is cut down in the backfield by Sheldon Richardson. Sheldon Richardson, part of that terrific front three. He's a first-round draft pick out of Missouri.
Well, this front wall of the Jets is littered with #1 draft picks. Muhammad Wilkerson, Quentin Coples. This is a. It's not that the Jets haven't invested heavily on their front line on defense.
2nd and 10.
Going to get a false start, I think, against Baltimore.
False start, number 82 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Torrey Smith, the guilty party.
Nobody likes a false start if you're a coach, but a false start by a wide receiver where you're really not going on the snap count, you're going on the movement of the football, really sends coaches into orbit. It really, Torrey Smith is not flexed out there listening to the snap count.
Flacco, quick pass and wide open once again is Dickson.
Well, that time they elect to rush Joe Flacco with and he is ready for it. He immediately to the football. Dickson makes the nice adjustment. Joe reads it in a hurry. Watch the blitz come right at him from the right. The corner blitz comes. Landry on a safety off the corner, and that's textbook how you deal with it. Landry the blitz, and it just not ready for it. He didn't have time to get there. Joe Flacco all over it.
3rd and 2.
Taylor again.
This is Taylor again, right side, and he dives for the first down. variety in the play calling in less than the first half, less than one half today, than we have all season.
Well, again, I think this is a concession to the windy conditions by both teams' offenses, that they don't want to get into some sort of an all-out passing game. And when you've got athletes that can run that offense, why not use them?
And it looks like the Jets have called a timeout.
Jets.
So the Jets have used their first timeout here in the first half. 3:44 to play. Take a look at the yards here in the second quarter. Baltimore with 129 and the Jets with no total yards in the second quarter.
And Baltimore's got those yards moving into the win.
Flacco pulls it down, scrambles out of trouble, gets back into trouble and goes down, and that's Wilkerson.
Well, Joe Flacco, not known as the most nimble of quarterbacks. Pretty slick little pirouette he did back there. Of course, when you do that pirouette in exactly the same place where you started,
then you need another pirouette to get out of it.
Yeah.
Second and 15. Rice running room up the middle to about the 23. Amazing thing for the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Rice still scrambling, trying to find some running room.
Well,
Tyrod Taylor is their leading rusher so far today.
Yeah, Ray Rice has not been able to get loose at all. That's his. He's got a grand total of 17 yards. Prior to that carry, he was again averaging less than 2 yards a carry. Now Rice is split out. We're down here at the bottom.
Third and 10. Flacco throws, and that's complete. And that's Dallas Clark, and Clark will be about 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, that was the Jets making sure that everything happened in front of them, and then the first guy makes the tackle, and that brings on the field goal unit. They don't mind giving up the completion, but they did not want to give enough yardage to move the stick, so that was well played by the Jets.
And they will let this clock tick down to the 2-minute warning before they get this field goal away. No touchdowns, all field goals so far today. Baltimore with a 6-3 lead, looking for 3 more. These teams have combined for 4 trips into the red zone today. This is the 4th one. No touchdowns yet.
This is actually into the wind, but I think Tucker is so close that I don't think it's much of a factor.
From 33 yards out. It is good. So 1:56 to play now, and the Ravens stretch their lead to 9-3. A timeout, and we're back after this. Hey, coming out, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores, highlights, playoff picture, you name it, they'll have it coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. (9-3) Baltimore. Field goal contest. And the wind continues to gust on the field and blew the ball off the tee.
Yeah, they're going to get one of the Ravens to hold it, or are they going to? He wants to try. Tucker would more time, I think, without having somebody hold it. And they'll give him one more. If it comes off the tee again, then I think somebody's going to have to hold it.
Josh Cribbs in the end zone. This one's really short. Coming down short of the 20-yard line. And we have a penalty marker down. That kickoff fielded well short of the 20 by Leger Douzable, a defensive lineman.
Offside kicking team, number 56. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Well, the officiating crew is going to have to make sure they've got this ball spotted at the right place. They're asking each other, have you added the 5 yards on yet?
No, did you? No, did you?
That's what Jeff Triplett was asking right there, and the answer was no, we have not.
So the line of scrimmage will be the Jets 36.
Well, now the question is, how aggressive do they want to be? Baltimore has 2 timeouts left.
Smith throwing, and that's tipped and incomplete. David Nelson had it in his hands and then almost gift wrapped it for the Raven defense.
Well, that was so close to a turnover, and you've just got to field that football. David Nelson, that's just, you got to help your quarterback out, especially given the fact your quarterback is struggling with turnovers. And now with that incompletion that stopped the clock, you can count on the Ravens using their 2 remaining timeouts here to force a New York punt if they don't get any yardage here, if they're not able to convert the first down.
Smith with time, and now flips over here to Powell. Powell cutting it back, penalty marker flies as he makes it to the 40-yard line.
A lot of times in a situation like this, a lineman can end up downfield. I don't know.
You sound like you've done that before.
Well, when a play breaks down.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible downfield. Number 77 of the offense. That penalty's declined. Also, ineligible downfield. Number 67 of the offense. That penalty's accepted. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
See, as an offensive lineman, when the play breaks down like that, you think it's going to end up a running play, and so you find yourself on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that's what happened to both Austin Howard and Willie Colon.
And Dan, as we talked to Marty Morningweg and Geno Smith last night, they've been encouraging Geno to use his legs a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. They said the front door's been open a lot of times, and he didn't go through it.
2nd and 15. Smith throwing, and that pass is complete to Powell, but not from it very much. Everyone covered deep, he went short.
And why is Baltimore not taking a timeout? They've got 2 timeouts remaining. Why are they not stopping the clock? I would have thought that they would have tried to stop the clock so that they could get some more time offensively, try to squeak out another field goal before halftime gets here.
Smith throwing, tipped, incomplete. Coming across the middle was Santonio Holmes. First time he's been targeted today. And that stops the clock with 47 seconds remaining.
And you could see, wow, and that was pretty well after the play. Terrell Suggs, lucky that he wasn't flagged for roughing the quarterback, burying Geno Smith. He took a good 2 steps before he hit the rookie quarterback.
Jones deep. Jones will let this one bounce on the far side of the field, and it rolls out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Reminder once again, the guys back in New York, just hanging around, eating hors d'oeuvres.
But just another Sunday.
Sipping a little iced tea. Verizon halftime report upcoming. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and the coach. Scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
Well, I don't know how aggressive we'll see Baltimore now with 39 seconds left and the ball clear back almost at their own 15-yard line. They know they're going to get the ball to start the second half. And going into the wind, let's see how big a chance they're willing to take.
If there is an arm that can take on a stiff wind, it's Joe Flacco. Instead, he's going to give this one to Bernard Pierce.
Well, that's all about field position. And I think they're going to be willing to let the clock run. And both teams, I think, say, let's go to halftime.
Well, the New York Jets in this first half managed 73 total yards and just 3 first downs. And although it's the Jets defense that gets much of the publicity, it's the Baltimore defense that stood up here in the first half. And that is the end of the first half. Baltimore 9, the New York Jets 3. We're back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.